There are so many platforms out there, it's hard to know which one an author should be on. Should you be on TikTok, Instagram, Substack, LinkedIn, or maybe you've heard that Pinterest is making a comeback? The truth is, there isn't one best platform, there's only the best platform for you. So today, I'm going to walk you through the 10 biggest platforms for authors in 2026 and tell you exactly how each one has changed, and more importantly, help you decide which one fits your books, your readers, and the way you naturally create. I'm Ross with the Alliance of Independent Authors, and we help writers publish successfully and build sustainable careers. Rather than give you a simple list, I'd like to give you a framework, because if you understand it, you'll be able to evaluate almost any platform that comes along, including whatever shows up next year. As we go through each platform, I want you to score it against 3 questions. So filter 1 is yourself. So how do you naturally like to create? Do you enjoy writing, video, photography, long-form teaching? Or do you hate being on camera? Because if you hate making videos, then TikTok probably isn't going to be your favorite marketing platform. And that's okay. So filter 2 is going to be audience. So who actually spends time there? Not other authors, but readers, because the goal isn't to impress writers, it's to reach readers. Every platform attracts a different audience, different ages, different interests, and different buying habits. And filter 3 is going to be medium. So how does the platform expect you to communicate? Short video, long form writing, images, carousels, live conversations. There's lots of different options, so every platform has its own language. The easier that language feels to you, the more likely that you're going to stay consistent. First up is Bluesky. So think of this as Twitter before it became X. It's conversational, it's text-led, and it's very thoughtful. There's also very little algorithm deciding what people see. It's passed 30 million users since the exodus from X, and it's built around something called starter packs. These are curated bundles of accounts by topic, so a zeitgeist-led reader can find 2026 debut authors, for instance, in one tap, or a fantasy reader can plug straight into a whole pocket of that genre. So, who's actually there? Literary readers, essay readers, thoughtful non-fiction, and lots of writers. And again, that's a warning in and of itself, because if you're mostly talking to other writers on there, that's not the same as reaching readers. So don't confuse conversation with discovery. It's best for short posts and also joining real discussions. So if you enjoy writing, short thoughts, and you don't need an algorithm doing the work for you, then Bluesky is definitely worth your time. So next up we have Facebook. So Facebook has changed quite dramatically. Author pages don't have the same reach that they once did, but Facebook groups are still incredibly valuable. And that's the real story here. Over 1 billion people worldwide are in Facebook groups. And the page just isn't really where audience lives anymore, so the groups are. And who's there? Really, it's older readers mostly, and genre communities. So romance, cozy mystery, science fiction, those are the genres that really fly on there. The medium is posts, photos, live discussions, and above all else, community discussion. It's best for building an active reader community, so don't go on there and expect that your author page is going to do all the work for you. That's not really where the conversation happens anymore. It's all about the groups. So number 3 is Goodreads, and it probably shouldn't be on this list because Goodreads isn't really a social media platform. It's more like an infrastructure. But we know that this year they've added something worth knowing about, and that's a formal do not finish shelf. And it's cracked down a lot on review bombing before books even launched. So both signs are for the same thing, which is that Goodreads is trying to make itself more trustworthy for readers hunting their next book. This isn't really built for authors, it's built for readers, and that's actually exactly why it works. So who's there? Committed readers, book reviewers, and genre fans. The media is book pages, reviews, ratings, and reading lists. So it's best for being discoverable. So don't treat it like Instagram, set your page up properly and keep the information accurate, and then let the readers review naturally. So next up is Instagram, still one of the strongest visual platforms for authors, and Bookstagram has built a huge community of passionate readers. Just how huge? The hashtag Bookstagram now sits at around 119 million posts. That's nearly double what it was just a couple of years ago. And a recent Library Association study found that nearly 46% of Gen Z and millennial readers now discover their next book primarily through social media, with Bookstagram and BookTok leading the way. But the platform itself has changed. Photos alone do not reach as many people as they once did. Today, video reels are the main way to reach new readers. So stories are where you build relationships with the audience you already have. So let's look at who's there. You've got romance, YA, poetry, literary fiction, cookery, lifestyle books, the list goes on. Readers who love beautiful books and visual storytelling. And the medium is video reels, stories, carousels, photography, behind the scenes content. So it's best for authors whose books naturally have a visual world and for those who enjoy showing their creative process. Just know this, getting people to leave Instagram is difficult. So use it for discovery and then encourage readers back to your website or your email list. Now, number 5 is LinkedIn, and this surprises a lot of people because if you write business books, leadership books, self development, professional advice, or academic crossover books, then LinkedIn deserves serious attention. And here's why it's especially worth it this year. LinkedIn has rebuilt its entire algorithm in 2026 to reward individual voices over company pages. So personal posts now get several times the reach of brand accounts, and that shift works directly in your favor if you're posting as yourself. So who's there? You've got professionals, business owners, decision makers, consultants, and academics. So the medium is long form posts, carousels, articles, and even talking head videos. It's best for building authority, generating speaking opportunities, or growing a consultancy alongside of your books. But if you write fiction, you might want to skip LinkedIn altogether. Pinterest is probably the most underrated platform on this list because, again, it isn't really a social media, it's a visual search engine. And here's the number that surprises people: Pinterest has 690 million monthly user subscribers. Most people still picture it as a recipe and wedding board app, but 97% of searches on there are unbranded, which means that your pin competes for equal footing with a big five publisher. So, most social posts disappear within days. Pinterest pins can keep bringing readers to your website for months, sometimes years. So who's there? It's predominantly female readers, lifestyle, craft, cookery, romance, historical fiction, and DIY. So the medium is vertical pins, infographics, book graphics, and idea collections. It's best for long-term traffic and evergreen content, visual books as well. So Pinterest is a slow burn, so don't expect conversations, expect search traffic over time. Next, we have Substack, and Substack is one of the most exciting platforms for authors right now because it combines something very unusual: your newsletter, your social feed, and your readers all in one place. It crossed 50 million active subscriptions last year, and the number of publications actually earning money on there has doubled in the past year alone to nearly 100,000. But the growth isn't really the point. Here's what makes it different: finding your tribe and owning your tribe are the same action here. So every single reader who discovers you through notes becomes an email subscriber automatically, not a follower you could lose overnight. So who's there? Essay readers, literary fiction, thoughtful nonfiction, serial fiction, and readers who enjoy following an author's thinking. So the medium is newsletters, long form articles, notes, and even serialized writing. It's best for authors who genuinely enjoy writing, not just selling. Just remember, Substack is brilliant for building relationships, but your book still needs somewhere to be sold. So next is Threads, and Threads is Meta's answer to Twitter. It's conversational, it's fast moving, and it's also easy to join if you already have Instagram. And it's also just hit 500 million monthly users, and it's closing in on X, who have roughly 550 million. It's stopped being the backup plan and it's kind of become its own room. So who's there? General readers, lifestyle audience, book lovers, and obviously Instagram users. The medium is short text, images, conversations, and replies. So it's best for staying visible, sharing ideas, and joining a discussion. But I wouldn't build your whole strategy here. Think of Threads as a companion platform, not your main one. Now, let's talk about the giant, TikTok. For certain genres, it's become one of the most powerful discovery platforms in publishing. BookTok has launched countless bestsellers, and this year it has something else official to add to it: the UK's first official BookTok bestseller list, a genuine collaboration between BookTok and Media Control. So this isn't just noise anymore, it's a measurable sales engine for the right genre. But it isn't magic, it rewards creators who understand the language of the platform. So let's look at who's there. You've got romance, romantasy, YA, fast-paced genre fiction, and young readers. The medium is short form video, fast hooks, storytelling, and personality. It's best for organic discovery and reaching completely new readers. TikTok is high effort, but it's also high reward. So if you hate making videos or your genre naturally doesn't fit, your time may be better spent elsewhere. And next up, we have YouTube. So YouTube really is like building your own television channel, and it's quietly becoming something else too. Over 1 billion people now watch podcast content on YouTube every single month. So it's a real podcast destination, and which matters if you're weighing up where to home your videos and your interviews as well as long form audio. The thing to know about YouTube is that growth is slower, but the content lasts much longer. So one video can keep bringing readers back again and again years after you published it. So let's look at who's there. You've got nonfiction readers, learners, researchers, and mainly people looking for deeper content. Increasingly, though, we're also seeing niche fiction communities rise there as well. The medium is long form video, educational content, interviews, live streams, and podcasts. So it's best for teaching, building authority, and also for growing a long term audience. YouTube really does reward consistency. So remember, if you're going to do it, it's a long game. But if you're willing to invest the time in it, it can become one of your most valuable marketing assets. So let's zoom back out. Hopefully, you've noticed something. The goal here was not to find the most popular platform, it was to find the platform where these three things overlap. You enjoy creating there, your readers already spend time there, and the content format feels natural to you. That's really where consistency happens, and consistency is going to beat trend chasing every single time. So, don't ask where should every author be, but instead ask where can I consistently show up for my readers. And remember, social media is not your home, it's how readers discover you. So, whatever platform you choose today, the job is always going to be the same. Bring your followers home to your website, your email list, or to that direct relationship with where readers find you. And if you want help building that home, your email list, your reader magnet, we've put all of this into a cheat sheet, which you can download in the description below this video. So thanks for listening and happy indie publishing, and I'll catch you in the next one.